Well, hey there, everyone. Welcome back to the Island Church Weekly Podcast. I am joined, as always, by Pastor Reverend Dr. Will McRaney. Will, how you doing today, brother?
Yes. You missed probably some other adjectives in there, but I appreciate those. So it's a good day. It's a little crazy, but
Yeah, you got
voting this
all
week,
the
people a
titles.
little uptight,
All the titles, man.
but lots of good
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, everyone seems a little bit on edge today. We're recording Tuesday, so it is election day. Besides election day, how was Sunday at Island Church? Tell us a little bit about how the week went.
Good. Yeah, we had gathered up before worship, and even had a young lady that showed up at 8:30, and I never heard of this before, but she missed the time, and maybe it was on the Google site she came in, and so she sat in and watched the worship team practice, and was even clapping after they finished singing and stuff. So, you never know what's going to happen in life of a church, but it was good. We gathered up early, some a little more earlier than normal. Had the worship service dealing with our authentic present 2 weeks ago. Really got some good feedback. When we dealt with the authentic past, we dealt with how do we view our past. We talked about that every saint has a past, and every sinner has a future.
Yeah.
And so how do we do that? And so this week we dealt with the present, and certainly we have the election coming up, and so we dealt with that. And the next week we're going to be dealing with that we have an authentic future. What is our future hold? But also we had trunk or treat.
Trunk or treat.
Since we were last together, right? Trunk or
Yeah.
treat.
Yeah.
We had about 14 cars, had more candy than we could eat. I didn't even pocket any myself, my favorites, like little Snickers or Almond Joys.
That's a work of God in your life.
That's right. So
I did all the candy.
I resisted. Now I did eat a hot dog that from being grilled. Certainly appreciate Larry helped us out with that, and some of the other people that helped out with grilled. We had the bounce house. I think we had 14 cars, which is more cars than we've had in the past. Maybe a few less kids. I'm not really sure. Maybe a few less kids this time. But it was just a really good experience for our people to serve. People need to serve, need to keep their minds and hearts towards other people, and particularly towards those without Christ. And so that was really good. And then we're just hearing some reports. I want to hear some more reports about how people have used this reverse offering.
Oh,
and so I've got my stories, but people don't want to just hear my stories. I want to hear how the other people, how God's used that in their life. And so trunk or treat, good service. We had guests. We had people returning. Some of our church family have been off and away, and they returned either after a long season or maybe a short trip. And so it was just a good day, or a good spirit in our church.
Very cool. Very cool. And as a reminder for anyone watching, if you took part in that reverse offering, if you're there that Sunday and you've got a story to share about how that went, post on our Facebook page. That's the best way to kind of communicate that back to us. Post on the Facebook page. Just tag Island Church in a post on your personal Facebook page. Let us know how you used it. That way you'll share it with all your friends and also everyone who follows Island Church. All right, Pastor Will, what is coming up in the life of the church that folks need to know?
Oh, good. Glad you asked that question. We're going to be dealing, like I said, we're going to be dealing with the future. I'm looking forward to the message this week and this series of Authentic Me, because, we're all on a journey. We're all in a process, and we have passed, and we need to assess where we are presently. And then we want to be planning and and towards our future. We want to set up eternal rewards. Actually, we want to live for the eternity, not just out of the past or in our present, but live towards the future. And so I look forward to sharing that this week. We had voting taking place this week. That's kind of taking place still as we're filming. But on November 24th, Leo Schofield, the man that was innocent, convicted innocent.
Yeah.
We're working, you're working on a project for him. So you want to tell about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So he will have a new website live, hopefully at the end of this week. Wants to make a few little just tweaks, edits, make sure everyone's good with it. leoschofield.org. It will be kind of a central hub for Leo to be able to share with people both ways they can interact with him as a speaker, as everyone experienced at Island Church. Like, his story is an incredibly powerful testimony to God's faithfulness and hope and forgiveness. So we want him to be able to share that with more churches, more ministries, more organizations. So it'll be a hub for people to kind of book him to speak, to get in contact with him, but then also kind of a central place to learn about his story. There's so many, whether articles or podcasts or documentaries that have been done about Leo and his story, that oftentimes you find yourself, as you probably know, Pastor Will, texting or emailing this link to this person, this one, this one. And there's really no central repository that Leo has right now that really gives almost like an archive of his story. And so what we want to do is create a space where if you haven't seen those resources all in one spot, leoschofield.org, you can go and view all those resources, learn about his case, learn about what God's done in his life, see some of his speaking engagements, kind of watch some of his sermons, his preaching, listen to some of his music. And then also it's a place for folks to find him, keep up with what he's doing, and book him to come to their event. So that's a little bit more about leoscofield.org. Really excited to be part of that project, to see the impact it has for the kingdom.
Well, it's the good news that we don't share this often. We've said it a few times, but we assume everybody knows if they don't. But this church, Island Church, has been sponsoring 3 churches in the prison. Leo was the main front person. Leo's had dramatic impact in the midst of his 35 years of being wrongfully convicted and being innocent, actually, not just wrongfully convicted. Has had made you talk about making lemonade out of lemons, and just had a dramatic impact on the guards, on everyone else. And it's been amazing. And so our church, through our mission offering, has been contributing to Leo in the past while he was in there, and then now we're going to continue to support him now that he's out in terms of the ministry. God's really called him into preaching, and he does music, he sings, he does those kinds of things. He's one of those guys that kind of like you, Matt, just get jealous about. I mean, you're a little playing and singing and preaching.
We're good at a bunch of things, not really great at any one thing.
So we're going to help support Leo as he gets started, and try to go to the governor on his behalf. And if some of you have some connections related to that, we really are looking for an exoneration for him. And so he's glad to be out and be functioning, and with some work, but we're going to help him on the ministry side to get that going. So
awesome.
That's
I love
good.
it. I love it. Pastor Will, how can folks be praying for the church this week?
Well, Matt, why don't we make this week a time to pray for our engineers and architects as we relate to our building? Because here,
what do we got?
Some plans.
I love it. It's a little bit grainy, but I think it'll come through.
Well, you get the idea. That's just a little taste.
Yep.
You get there's just numerous. Maybe that's the right side. There we go.
Oh, it's beautiful. I love it.
So anyway, that'll give you a little idea. But we're looking forward to that. And we do this because we want to build the bridge to people that need Jesus. That's really what we're doing. And as you know, most people aren't connected life of a church. Probably in most cities, most cities are not 10% churched on any given Sunday. And so we're looking for a way to build bridge to people, just like the Trunk or Treat. Our church has a heart for people and wants to grow and to grow itself personally, and then also reach out to people so they can find life in Christ. And so they can pray about that. The engineers, the people that are involved in that, for David Brooks, he gives leadership to a group on that. So, but it's primarily missions focused.
Yeah, absolutely. It's that, hey, outreach to the community. It's a way for us to be praying just through the process. I think so many folks in the church have been part of the Bridge of the Future campaign. This is another way, we talked about when it first rolled out, like, hey, there are multiple ways to partner around this project. It wasn't just give money. It was, no, we need your prayer. We need your support. We need your encouragement. This is another way to partner along with us in prayer for it. So thank you, Pastor Will, for sharing that. Excited to see the progress that's made by the architects and engineers. Thank you all for watching this week. We'll see you back here on another Church of the Island Church weekly podcast next week.